Rick Marks here. Looking at the challenges of leadership, and by leadership it's not just the workplace. I've touched on it previously around the home life, the work, and I know personally from a man, and this can be true of women as well, but I can't obviously speak on that behalf, but I know a lot of men struggle with juggling the balance, because you're wanting to bring in the income to provide for the family, but you're also battling the family time. Like, it's a constant juggling act, I suppose, of your time, and working out how you can be there for your kids, but also, and your partner, but then also be there for the work in order to earn the money to look after it. And it can be quite intense. And I suppose a lot of these thoughts and thinking have come around more recent because I've been doing Laps for Life, and I've been doing a lot of reflection myself around my young adult years and my youth, and mental health, because that's what this charity and what this program is all about. I've been swimming laps every morning and devoting those efforts, I suppose, to Laps for Life, and I'll put a link in the description. But it really does challenge me personally as well to reflect on where I was at as a youth at that time, and where I was going mentally, and the challenges that I was facing. Now I know the world has changed quite a bit since those days, but I think we forget there are leaders, and I've often found that in workplaces, when I've been in different workplaces, I naturally have people following me, and it's not necessarily because I say something or do something, or it is, but there's a combination of all these things. I'm not actively being a manager, or just people gravitate my messages and my work ethic. People get behind it. People want to follow. People, I've often been in companies, and I've seen a number of times where I've left the company for my own personal reasons. I've also left because I've seen where companies are going, and it's not on board with my ethics, I suppose, or my own personal beliefs. And I keep my ear to the ground, because again, in Canberra, it's quite a small population of 400 to 500,000 people, so it's really not hard to keep abreast of what's happening. And often there'll be quite a few people who have also left, I suppose, following like weeks, days, months, and again, talking with them and stuff afterwards, much the similar reasons. They just took a little bit longer to either understand or see it. But I found that in a lot of companies, I seem to naturally lead. And it's really hard sometimes, because that does also put an expectation on me. I'm okay with that, but I know that there are people out there who don't like having people follow them. It makes them nervous, it makes them scared, because it means that if you make a decision, all these other people are going to follow you, or they're all looking to you. And if you trip and you fall, then they're all going to watch and see that. I'm not a big believer in fearing failure. Because I think at the end of the day, when you fear failing, or failure in itself, you'll stop taking risk. And I believe there's failure and there's risk, and when we play it safe, we're no longer taking risk. Therefore, we're trying to reduce the failure element, but that in itself, your whole life could be a failure, all because you didn't take any risk. So it's really a formula that everyone has to work out for themselves. And when you do have people following you, naturally, or you are a manager, and I've seen it before as well, where they're really bad leaders, and they're very unself-aware, or not self-aware, whatever the correct English term would be, and they speak their personal elements to direct reports. I'm very mindful of the fact that I have my personal views. I also have a company that I represent. Whilst I have staff underneath me, I am there to represent the company and the beliefs the company have. I can also put the caveat as such that, I don't necessarily agree with this, but it's my job to pass down the echoes, I suppose, from the executive. And so I think that's really important as leaders to understand when it's time. And I think that's something that only you can ever work out. But this all links back into understanding your core beliefs and values. When you don't know what your core beliefs and values are, you no longer actually have a grounding or a neutral where you can go back to and go, right, where this company is heading in its 10-year plan, 5-year plan, 2-year plan, whatever they're up to, it no longer resonates with me. And it's when it no longer resonates with you that you need to get off. If you're a leader, if it's not feeling right with you, even if you're an employee, being in a company that you don't agree with is very negative and toxic, and it can lead to quite a negative spin on others and the influence you have in the work, the impact you have on clients, because you're not actually really wanting to be there. You don't agree with the company, and it can come out in sly little side comments that you make, and that doesn't reflect professionally very well on you either. So I hope that's highlighted some of the bigger picture. Like, I know leadership in itself is huge, it's humongous, and there's many battles within that in itself, but it's important that you actually understand your cause and your values regardless of where you sit in the management tiers or even as an employee of a company, because then you actually know where you're going and what your values are. And I've recently turned down an offer as well. I pretty much had it in the bag, but the company, the parameters changed on a number of fronts between phone calls with this one person in HR or in recruitment. And to me, that spoke depths of, I suppose, like the integrity of the company or the integrity of the recruitment and the management, because again, they were representing the intermediate between myself and management. And when I'm not going to work for a company that, I suppose, has that stance. So yeah, it's important that you work out what is true to you, because I think it's only when you actually fully resonate with the company that then you, or leadership at least, that then you are working at your optimum and you're working at your best, and you can then empower others and you can lead others. If you've enjoyed the video, thumbs up, hit like and subscribe, and you'll see me tomorrow morning. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.